This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com with a daily wrestling news update. I did a very good interview with Baby Doll, the World Class Championship Wrestling, as well as UWF and NWA former Valet, Trailblazing Valet. So if anyone hasn't seen it, check it out. Also yesterday, why I almost said World Class Revolution Pro Wrestling just then was because I posted a video on this channel from World Class Revolution because we have a deal now where we're going to be sharing content for at least a year. And Sonny was in the video, and a bunch of people asked me, is Sonny released from jail? I looked into it, and coincidentally, she was actually released last week on June the 9th. According to Sportskeeda, Sonny was released from the Monmouth County Correctional Institution, where she had been since July 2020, so almost a year. She was paroled last February after serving a year in jail because of multiple DUI convictions. Her parole was then revoked after she was arrested again last July, and those charges included 2 counts of violating a domestic restraining order, driving with a suspended license, and evading a police officer. The state of New Jersey then filed to have Sitch's parole revoked, and she was sent back to jail. So Sonny's real name is Tammy Sitch, in case anyone didn't know. So let's pray that she doesn't keep driving, even though she's not supposed to be driving, particularly while under the influence. Raw this week, its rating was up to 0.49. Samoa Joe did debut, as I was reported he was going to, on NXT. And they brought back the $1 million belt 30 years later on NXT with Ted DiBiase, who was recently involved, allegedly, in a scheme where his Heart of David Ministries was taking money that was intended to help feed the poor. So a real piece of crap he seems to be. But it's just funny that they're retaking an angle that was around in like 1990 and 1991 in 2021. Could you imagine when wrestling was really popular around 97 that they like took an angle from 30 years before in 1967? It just shows you that there's no young viewers, that they're trying to please the old viewers that are sticking around from when wrestling was popular in the 80s and 90s. So it's kind of sad. The kid of Brody Lee, who is under contract, I guess, to AEW, has started training with a friend of mine, Tyson Kidd, and Liv Morgan. I'm not really that familiar with her. There seems to be a trend of kids wrestling going on right now. In an interview with Forbes that I'm putting the excerpt of right here, AEW owner Tony Khan actually stated that his wrestling company, AEW, is still in the red. So he does expect its wrestling division to become profitable this year, he also stated. But Forbes points out that he has an 8-figure investment in a video game being developed right now that will keep the company in the red for the immediate future. For people wondering if AEW is profitable or not yet, there's your answer. The Body Slam movie that coincidentally I talked about this weekend with Tonga Kid, who co-starred with Roddy Piper in it, is now available on DVD and Blu-ray. So that's the main news of the day. I see Beater Cars tipped me $5 and says he watched my interview with the Goon 10 times. It's incredible how many people have seen that interview. Van Dan Escobar giving me the alien sign. What about? Says good morning. Steven checking in. Scott White praying that Sunny can keep her life straight. Like Buff Bagwell, my main concern with those two is, are they going to kill somebody with their intoxicated driving? John says, sunny days, my friend. Weird Hero says, good morning. Rumar really liked the baby doll interview and hopes that I have her back soon. And for the people that were asking during the interview, why didn't I ask her about the Dusty envelope? I've actually done 2 interviews with Baby Doll. If you search my Baby Doll interview 2020, she actually goes into great detail about the whole Dusty mystery envelope thing. So I'm not going to ask the same question. Anthony says Sunny needs DDP to help her. DDP said in an interview he did with me last year that you guys can look up that she doesn't appear to want help, I believe he said, and he had talked to her a few times. And DDP also said in that interview, when talking about Buff Bagwell, he is not a rehab guy. He does yoga. He's not a specialist on people that have substance abuse problems. Why he helped Jake the Snake and Scott Hall is because they helped him in his career. But it's not his responsibility to help every wrestler with substance abuse problems. Sunny from what I understand, Sunny and Scott Hall at one point, I don't know if they still do, held the record for most money spent by WWE on rehab. So they have access to the real rehab people. You don't need to put it all on poor DDP. DW says greetings from Toronto. By the way, apparently for the Canadians that watch this, the provincial border between Quebec and Ontario is finally going to be open this weekend. And gyms are open in Quebec. They're not open in Ontario, where I live, until the end of July for reasons I'll never understand, because in my city there's little to no cases. But starting this weekend, I'll now be able to travel to Quebec to get some heavy lifting in. Rumar doesn't have confidence that Sunny's going to not be arrested again. John says it was a disgrace what she did to Candido. Some people believe that he actually got off on other guys having sex with her, much like the rumors, according to Rumor and Innuendo, and some people saying they had direct experience with it. Jim Cornette reportedly likes having others, men, do stuff with his woman as well. So some people get off on that type of thing. So who knows if it's true in either case, but according to reports, and firsthand conversations I've had with some wrestlers, she constantly was cheating on Chris. So you'd have to think he was okay with it. Gannon saying hello from Kingston, one of the towns that Great North Wrestling has run a bunch of times. There's going to be a no-fan event with Great North Wrestling in July. Ante loves Sunny, hopes she gets help. Louis is sick of kids wrestling. This is why I don't have any interest in watching wrestling. It's just so unbelievable now, and having kids wrestling, it's just become a huge joke. And I really hope another company, you're never going to see kids wrestling in Great North Wrestling, I can assure you that. But I hope that another company will come out with some money behind it that has a true alternative product. Hopefully World Class Revolution Pro Wrestling, which I'm going to do an update specifically for them in a few minutes, that I'm also going to stream on their YouTube channel, which, by the way, you guys should subscribe to. I hope that they go in that direction, but that will remain to be seen. But yeah, there needs to be companies out there that give a true alternative product. I remember when AEW said they were going to be an alternative product. Gary checking in from the UK, where the Blood Hunter is going to be wrestling February 19th. Pierre says the Ontario-Quebec bridge is not going to be back for 4 months. Well, I was talking to a friend who has a cottage in Quebec yesterday. So they've been following it closely because they haven't been able to go to their cottage all year. And they said they're planning to go to the cottage this weekend because the border's opening today. And some Americans have been saying, can U.S. people finally get into Canada? No. It's only Canadian citizens that can come to Canada right now. And the driven border, you still can't drive to the U.S. Like me, I live 45 minutes away from the New York state border. I have to fly to go to the U.S. Returning, you can take a cab across. But that was one of the reasons why my expenses were so high in Texas. When I was there for 3 months, I couldn't drive my vehicle across. So I had to rent a vehicle for 3 months, which I can tell you right now was, yes, I did rent a Jeep, and it cost pretty much the same as my hotel to rent. But now I'm used to driving a Jeep, and I didn't want to friggin' rent a small car. Chris, am I going to be at the Battleground Championship Wrestling event in Philadelphia coming up September the 18th? Yes, I am going to be covering that. And then I'm going to be flying straight to San Antonio, where I'm going to be covering the World Class Revolution combined event, which is going to be a television taping with River City Wrestling September the 19th in Texas. Steve says our neighbors, New York, had the worst cases in North America, and they lifted the mandate. I know. I am going nuts here that we're still on lockdown. It really makes me mad. Skinny Saint Raven, yeah, I put that graphic up because Raven is going to be part of the September 18th ECW Arena show, along with Matt Hardy. Enzo is also going to be there. John says the rules are so stupid, nothing makes sense. Yeah, like, for instance, I had to get a new barbecue yesterday, and I can go to the Super Center where they sell barbecues. I won't mention the name. And it can be packed, so you can buy a barbecue, but you can't work out. When back during COVID, at one point, they had the gyms open, but they had the gyms open to 1/4 capacity here. And it was never even full at 1/4 capacity because you had to sign up and make appointments. And anytime I went in there, there was people that didn't show up for their appointments. So it makes no sense why the gyms are closed. Eric, be prepared for that summer heat in San Antonio in September. I love the heat. I wrestled in Puerto Rico for 4 years. It's the cold I hate. Cannon says Ford is an idiot running Ontario. I agree. David likes wrestlers with cool entrance song. Jeff Hoover brings up that he can't even get a haircut. I agree. You can't even get a haircut here. Barbers are closed here. I found another way to shave my head since I'm just shaving my head. But yeah, we can't even get a freaking haircut here. And everything's opening up everywhere else. Travis says hello from Spokane Valley, Washington. Wolfpack in the house. Did I like the NWO theme? The original one, yes. Maverick, so being fat and unhealthy is good. Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. Charles says NWA Power did try to do it right as far as wrestling. Not really. Not really. They were more interested in taking group photos with all the heels and baby faces smiling together in the ring after tapings than trying to build angles. And at one point, they invited fans to actually critique matches as fans, and they aired it on their YouTube channel, which their YouTube channel hardly gets any hits. I track the analytics. And they've had a stale champion now for years. And they recently did a pay-per-view that, according to the Wrestling Observer, only had around 500,000 buys for what they consider, 500 buys NWA's pay-per-view had, according to Meltzer. So that's really small. The pay-per-view itself had 50 fans in attendance in Atlanta, a major city. The TV taping they did the same week only had 30 fans in attendance. So NWA, for people that say it's so great, they only drew 30 fans in Atlanta. Mark, can we do cardio outside? Yeah, I can run outside. But I really like lifting heavy weight. Skinny Saint says AEW should go the ECW route by building new stars. Well, they're not. They keep hiring the people WWE don't want anymore. Jason saying hi from Detroit. Don, yeah, my last match was May 18th, 2018. I defeated PCO. That was my last match. Should Trevor Murdoch have become champion? I don't think so. From the videos I've put of him on this channel, he's not a big draw. And when I wrestled on an event with him in Texas recently, he was never looking in shape, but he looks really, really out of shape these days. I'm not saying he's not a nice guy, but I don't think Trevor Murdoch is going to help take NWA to the next level. They need somebody that's popular, if they like somebody that's hot. And I know that it's hard to find these days because there's so many companies signing up all the indie stars. But yeah, they need to find someone with a great social media following that's really hot right now. And Braun Strowman would be out of their category, but Billy Corgan is a multimillionaire. But the best person they could make NWA champion right now, in my opinion, would be Braun Strowman, because he was a top name in WWE. He's just been released. If they wanted to get their company some recognition, I would have him come in and quickly destroy all this and get the company hot again. Because, yeah, as Charles says, 500 for a pay-per-view with all the resources they have is not good. FK says Ontario is a lockdown hellhole. Yes, it is. People are very depressed here right now. Pierre, what's my take on WWE stock? I bought some when they first made the deal with Fox, and it hasn't reached where it was when I bought it. I'm hoping that it's going to continue to go up a bit so I can get rid of it, because it was a bad decision. Martin's donating $20. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Great that I have fans supporting my channel. I've had some people accuse me of being a money mark. And as I've stated in the past, my dad is 73. He's still working. He does it because he loves working, but he works for the city. Like, he was never rich. My mom never even had a job. She was a stay-at-home mom. She babysat here and there. I'm funded by people that view my channel, people that pay to go see Great North Wrestling events, and people like Martin here that donate, and the people, which I don't even have 100 Patreons, but the people that pay $100.99 a month to help support me on Patreon, help fund me. So I'm self-funded. So the people, it's funny that people want to call me a money mark. I have zero education. I have a high school education. And I was a bouncer and security guard and personal trainer. I actually did 3 jobs to support myself for the longest time. My money is made from wrestling and the great fans that support me. Jason says, why do AEW matches seems to be all high spots and finishers? It's just big moves. I don't watch it. I don't watch it. So I couldn't tell you. I'm not a fan of it. Herb Simmons from St. Louis. He's a promoter there. Has a huge show coming up October 30th. It's going to be a Halloween-themed show, and Haku is going to be on that show. Jerry Lawler, the Rock and Roll Express, and I think that's really good. He's also involved as Piper's coming up to say hello. Herb Simmons is also involved with this Bruiser Brody tribute show. I'm going to be part of it November 5th and 6th in Carthage, Texas. And these are not all the names, but some of the names are Jimmy Hart, Kevin Nash, Money Incorporated, Demolition, Dr. D. David Schultz, Psycho Sid Vicious, James J. Dillon, and a lot more to be announced. That's going to be a huge event in Carthage, Texas. And as a big supporter of Bruiser Brody, I'm honored to be part of that. Matt says, I'm far from a money mark because some YouTubers actually charge fans to talk like this. I mean, I even had like memberships to do some YouTube streams live, and I just didn't feel right about it. So I got rid of the channel memberships for the people that were asking for the live YouTube videos. People that want to do channel memberships still, they're still there, but it's just for people that want to support the channel. Eric Smith says, people are jealous. I earned everything I'm getting now. Thank you. Johnny, would I ever interview Sonny? Yes, I would. Maverick says Piper is beautiful. Well, she thanks you for that. You can have a last look at her. David, could I have body slammed Andre the Giant? I really don't know. I think I body slammed Abdullah the Butcher in one match I had with him, and he was close to 500 pounds and very immobile at that point. BPJ loves my Death Dealer promos back when I was still wrestling, doing promos. Well, thank you. Really appreciate it. It's funny. Some of my haters will say I was bad at promos. However, when I was hired by WWE in 2009, that didn't work. One of the things that they complimented me for by Pat Patterson himself back when he was still alive was my promo ability. So I'm going to check out for now. Thank you for all your questions, and thank you to the person that tipped $20.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews